Just want to pop in the video real quick here. Epiccw's Wild June 22, launching June 1st. 30 days, 30 videos. Super excited to record those videos and have you guys check them out. So that starts June 1st on the channel. Hello and welcome to today's video. Today, we're here and we're ranking the best F1 drivers. We did yesterday rank the best NASCAR drivers. So today, we're going to rank the best F1 drivers. So let's see what we got here. So if you did not see our ranking of the best NASCAR drivers yesterday, I recommend you go check that out. That was quite fun to do, quite fun to put together. And today we're doing the best F1 drivers. Now, we're just going to dive in. Let's see what we got. So number 5. We're going way back with this one. Okay. Way back. We're going to go back and say Jim Clark. Okay. Now, Jim Clark was one of those drivers that absolutely killed it in his era, in his time. 2 championships, which is the least of anybody on this list. Basically, all his stats are the least of anybody on this list. But you got to think, in the 60s, the amount of races, amount of starts, reliability of your cars, everything was way lower than you would have in the current era now. So to have somebody put up these numbers in that time is absolutely insane. 2 championships, 25 wins, 33 poles, 32 podiums, 28 fastest laps, 8 Grand Slams, which is the most of any driver still. 2 consecutive Grand Slams, which only 2 other drivers have done, those being the Dutch Grand Prix and French Grand Prix, and the highest percentage of laps led in a season. So Jim Clark was winning at every series he entered. And he's one of the drivers that could have definitely won way more had he not been killed racing in 1968. And when you look at percentages, because obviously, again, 25 wins is way less than nobody else on this list. But, it's still pretty high up there. But when you do a percentage of races entered to races won or anything like that, Jim Clark has insane stats. So I feel like you can't make a top list without including him just based on that. Number 4, we have Ayrton Senna. Now, of course, he's a driver that many people rank as number 1. But I'm still putting him on the list, put him number 4. 3 championships, 41 wins, 65 poles, 80 podiums, 19 fastest laps, 4 Grand Slams, 6 Monaco Grand Prix wins, which is, big deal to win a Monaco Grand Prix. So winning 6, absolutely insane. Most consecutive poles of 8. He had a 100% front row start in 1998. Most consecutive poles at the same Grand Prix with 7 consecutive poles at the San Marino Grand Prix. And the most poles in the same Grand Prix with 8 in San Marino. And the most consecutive wins at the same Grand Prix with 5 in a row at Monaco. Ayrton Senna has, again, super impressive stats. Super all around, insane stats that really only 3 drivers have matched or beaten. And Senna's another one of those drivers, very similar to Jim Clark, that would have done so much more, so many more wins and championships to get had he not been killed racing as well. So both of those drivers are super impressive and super unfortunate we didn't get to see their full careers. And very, very unfortunate, but also one of those things that it's great now in sport, in F1, to see how much safety there is that can prevent this type of thing from happening these days. And we can see the full potential of drivers. So let's go to number 3 now. Number 3, we're going to have Sebastian Vettel. 4 championships, 53 wins, 57 poles. I don't know why it says 37 podiums. He's got more than that. That clearly is incorrect. I wrote that stat down wrong. Barry wrote it twice. I don't know how many podiums he has. 100 something, probably. 38 fastest laps. Most wins in a season. 13. I believe that it's tied with Michael Schumacher. I believe. Or tied with somebody. I wrote down the stats last night. I wrote that they're tied or have it, whatever. Most consecutive wins at 9. That's insane. Again, winning 2 or 3 races in a row is wild. Winning 9. Absolutely insane. He's the youngest ever champion. And at the time, he was the youngest ever winner. Still the second youngest. Max has passed that by quite a few years. But still, at the time, to be the youngest winner, very impressive. 280 consecutive starts. That went from the beginning of his career until Abu Dhabi in 2021. Of course, he tested positive for COVID at the start of the 2022 season and missed Bahrain and Saudi Arabia. He has 4 Grand Slams and 2 consecutive Grand Slams, winning in Korea and Singapore, and 2 Monaco Grand Prix wins. So these are, again, absolutely wild stats, which, when you look at stats of drivers, is Sebastian Vettel and the 2 that are listed above him, basically in most things that are positive stats. Number 2. Again, 1 and 2 is a very, very contentious subject lots of times, but this is my order. Number 2, we're going to have Michael Schumacher. 7 championships. Of course, only 2 drivers have 7 championships. Michael Schumacher and Lewis Hamilton. Michael Schumacher, most of these records were held until the last 2 years. And if you have all the records and somebody beats those records, the person that beats all your records should be better or equal to you. So that's what I'm going off of here. So you can obviously tell who's team number 1. Michael Schumacher has 91 wins, 68 poles, 155 podiums, 77 fastest laps, and most wins at the same Grand Prix. Tied with Lewis Hamilton at 8. Most consecutive seasons with a win, and most seasons with consecutive wins at 15. 5 Grand Slams, 5 Monaco wins, 37 consecutive races of the championship leader, which is the most of anybody. Most championships in a row at 5. Most wins at the same Grand Prix of 8 with France. 100% podiums in 2002, which is 100% podiums is wild. And the most races with a single team, 181 with Ferrari. I believe he has the second most podiums in a season. I believe Max broke that record last year. I didn't write it down, but I remember that one from the end of last season. So, Michael Schumacher, of course, set the benchmark so much higher than any other driver had done in F1. You know, you had the most wins was, I think Alain Prost had like 52, 51, something like that. You know, Fangio with 5 championships. Like, those records were insane. And for someone to come in and break that was wild. And it's one of those things that, these are mind-blowing numbers. And then to have one person come in and break those is absolutely insane. And then, of course, that is Sir Lewis Hamilton. With 7 championships, 103 wins, 103 poles, 183 podiums, 59 fastest laps, and the most wins with one team with 82 with Mercedes. Most wins in the same Grand Prix. Of course, that was tied with Schumacher. He's got 8 wins at Hungary and Britain. Most wins at the home Grand Prix with 8. Most wins at different circuits. 31 different circuits he's won at. Also tied with Michael Schumacher for the most seasons with a win and most seasons with consecutive wins at 15. 6 Grand Slams. He's got, I just wrote Monaco wins. I think he's got 4 or 5. Maybe 3. I don't know, something like that. I think it might be 3. 126 races combined as a championship leader. And the most consecutive classified finishes, 48 in a row. that came to an end. I believe that was from 2018 until Bahrain in 2020, of course. He tested positive for COVID and did not participate in the Sakir Grand Prix. And 5 consecutive wins at the Spanish Grand Prix, which is the most at the same Grand Prix. So, all those stats, you can see, a lot of the drivers have overlapping stats that they're tied on, but Lewis Hamilton has pushed stats and records and things that drivers can do past what Michael Schumacher did, which was the benchmark. From the mid-2000s, 2004, when he won that last championship, to 2006 when he won his last race. These were records that were absolutely insane. And for someone to come in like Lewis Hamilton has done and break those, it's absolutely wild. To see somebody get their 100th win in a series is insane. Of course, Lewis Hamilton very much so could have had 2 more championships. You look at 2016, if he's injured in the blow in Malaysia, he's probably going to win the championship. You look at Abu Dhabi, if Michael Massey, he's most likely going to win that championship. So, very easily, Lewis Hamilton could be a 9-time champion. Of course, those circumstances did happen. He's a 7-time champion, just like Michael Schumacher, but it's still absolutely insane to see a driver have this many records. So, it's one of those things that when you watch a race, see Lewis Hamilton, you'd know he's the best driver in the field and the greatest driver. I think that we're seeing at this point in his career, things are shifting towards, him not necessarily being the best driver in the field, but he's still the best driver that's ever raced in Formula One, So it's one of those things that's absolutely wild. So, I just want to also point out, I am where my max at saying this, so I'm not, let you guys know the facts here. You can do both. I just want people to know. I want people to know. You can be a fan of a driver and also recognize what another driver's done. I see so many comments online that are negative comments towards Lewis Hamilton. Of course, he gets so many hate comments. A lot of them are from people that are Max fans, which is sort of like, really, guys? But yeah, that's that. So, thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
What's good, y'all? It's Wanyá. I do art. Follow me on all my socials. Instagram, Etsy. That's about it.